I always create equity. So when I teach a novice,
Different, right?
I always create equity. I never buy something full value. I always take something where, I mean, hopefully most of the people that know, it's almost like what I do is I give the analogy as I go on Sunday, I go to a garage sale and you buy that bike for $10. It's 15 years old and it's got the banged up seat and the tires and the chain's not looking too good. It's rusted. And I take it home and I put $40 or $50 into it and I sell it to somebody else for $90. That is exactly what I do with real estate. I create equity. I create the value. So, because when you're done at Temple, it used to cost me, when I used to build a duplex there, that would be 8 bedrooms. That would be a duplex, 2 units, 8 bedrooms, 4 upstairs, 4 downstairs. It would cost me about $338,000 to purchase that rehab and do all the work. But every time I go into a deal, I look and see what's the outcome. Where do I need to be for the bank at the end? And I always want to be 25% higher in equity because I know I'm going to get a loan for 75% loan to value. So I still know these numbers for stuff that I bought in that $14 million portfolio years ago. I knew that rehab, when I brought in that $338,000, I knew if I wanted no money out of my pocket, I knew that property had to be worth $450,000. If you do the numbers, so the bank would come and appraise my properties with the tenants in there, the student housing, with the parents co-signing. They would appraise that property for $450,000, and they would give me 75% loan to value, which I can tell you right now is $337,500, and I'd be in the deal with no money out of my pocket. I felt like when I was teaching, I was like the infomercial at 2 o'clock in the morning. Right. Steve Lloyd at 2 o'clock in the morning, he's doing the infomercial. Here we go.
Though. But you're for real living it. Though.
But I actually started doing that with the $20 million buildings and $30 million buildings, and it's the progress is it's surreal. It's really humbling to go through my journey of the failures. I went $2 million in debt. I talk about that on YouTube because we're going to have certain people that aren't good in your life. In about 10 years, I had a problem. I ended up being about $2 million in debt 11 years ago from bad situations that I got in. And but you know what? You got to have faith and you believe. And I knew what I was doing with someday. And even then, I still walk like a millionaire. I still walk like a millionaire because when I walked into those RIA meetings, I don't want anyone to know because we're all animals, and I thought that they would treat me a different way.
So I still walked. Like you got it. Yeah.
I still walked with my chin up. I was depressed. I still walked with my chest out. But my partner, Kerry Fakes, and says, we're going to get through this, and we're going to take one bite out of the elephant at a time. And that's what we did over a 5 or 6 year period. We just took one bite out of the debt and kept paying it down. I can tell you your word, and when you do things when no one's looking, you're going to be successful. You're going to create success. Absolutely. Why not? Do you want it? Do you want to put the time into it? If you're going to be in real estate for the next 30 years, why not go and get it? I never got it, but I'm a money guy. But yeah, I think the more knowledge, having that, you never know when you're going to need it. I think I see a lot of guys. Dave Van Horn is one of my best friends. Dave and I have known, everyone knows Dave.
Author of Bigger Pockets, Guide to Note Investing.
Yeah, so I've known Dave since I've been 18 years old. He actually got me in the real estate. He pulled me to that real estate meeting and told me everything was going to be easy and glorious. Yeah, right.
My thoughts on getting your real estate license are
getting your real estate license.
If you want to sell and if you want to have call it like investing as a side hustle that you can boost up the IRA and do others and do some side deals while you've got a core, I think your real estate license should be, if you have it, it should be one of your core activities so you can make good money doing that and then push it over for passive investments in real estate.
I just had a guy who actually got to his 35th property after like 9 years. I've been mentoring him for 5 years now. I've kept him on course and have given him direction, and he's doing extremely well. And he just went and got his Dustin. He just went and got his real estate license, and he has sold a couple houses, but he's able to put stuff out on the MLS. He's paying less in fees. Look, if you're going to do a lot of real estate and you can sell your own properties, and that's $2 or $3 grand or $4 grand a property, that's a couple $100,000 that you can put in a savings account or your IRA. It's a bonus. Make that money, cut it up each way on a real estate deal. It's great. Ooh, never. No, I'm kidding. I think after 5 or 6 properties. So that answer could go anywhere, but if you can find a quality property manager that gives you fair exchange, I really think when you get over 5 or 6 properties, that's when you should implement. Because after 5 or 6, you get to 7, 8, 9, 10, you're going to be diluting yourself on finding deals. You're going to dilute yourself on finding capital.
Yeah.
You're just going to dilute yourself all the way around. So this is what, and people, sometimes I pay too much, a lot of the times, just because I feel like 8 years from now, it's not going to matter, right? So I think a lot differently than most people. They're going to say, I'm not giving up that 8% management fee. Mm-hmm. But if you give up that 8% management fee and you're able to get 10 more properties, and each of those properties go up $20,000 over an 8-year period, well, what was the right decision?
Right.
You know,
Makes
you don't
more
want to
than
be
8%.
doing. You don't want. I don't want to be doing evictions. This is what I tell people: do what you're good at. If you're good at finding properties, if you're good at rehabbing, if you're good at property management, that's what I should focus on. Because when I got to a certain level, I was doing paperwork, and I'm the worst paperwork guy there is, right? I don't want to do paperwork. It was the worst part of the business.
Yeah, yeah.
So I found an admin to do paperwork, and then my accounting, and I put my team together. You hear about it all the time. Even though that team was costly, it was much better for the long run. You're not going to get rich in a year. You're going to get rich in 15 to 20 years. That's how you create wealth. A consistent return, consistent rental properties, building that portfolio, and that's going to take time. You know, every single time I talk to a new entrepreneur about a business, I tell them, you better pick the business you want to be in, and you better go all in. You better go all in for 6 years. So I hear these people after 2 years, oh, it's just not working. I'm like, no shit, it's not just working. You're just figuring out what the hell you're doing. You got to stay in this for 5 or 6 years.
2 years
You got to
is the
let
beginner.
it cultivate.
Right, yeah.
You know, 2 properties, and I'm not rich. It takes, you know, it's going to take, you know, ask home, my man home. It takes 6 to 7, 8 years to build that real estate portfolio where you could sell those first 1 or 2 and make 30 or 40 grand. I was just talking about you, Hone, how you just sold that deal last week. Put some cha-ching in your pocket. It's awesome. It feels good. Your wife is going to be happy. Your kids are going to be happy. Yeah. Don't be scared to sell. You know, I see people that get 24, 25 properties and they don't want to sell, but they're broke. Who wants to be broke? Think about it. Sell 4 or 5. So what if you go back to 20? There's nothing more powerful than having money in your bank, about feeling good about life. Stress will kill you, and you're in a stressful game. Do what you say you're going to do all the time. Do what you say you're going to do. I believe out there my reputation is bar none in the real estate world. I believe that it's very good. That's what I hear. It's because I always do what I say I'm going to do. That's it. And even if it costs me money, even if I get jerked off, even if I get screwed on a deal, I just keep moving forward because there's always another deal. So by setting yourself apart, and it's by always doing the right thing. Be true to your word when you get into a deal, whether you make money or you lose money. I am sure I've lost money on deals. I was $2 million in debt. But your word is everything. You don't have anything else in life. But once you don't do the right thing, that's what they're going to remember you for.